Hey guys, be welcome to A Casa da Fluência YouTube channel. This is A Casa da Fluência podcast, and today we have someone who is not new here. That's the second time we have him here. Um, if you have watched the episode we have here on the channel with him, I want you to type his name because he's not gonna tell his name anymore. But here is a tip. He's a, an American pronunciation coach. So today we are going to be talking about something very important. But before, let me just greet him. So, teacher, be welcome again.
Thank you ever so much.
Okay, mi casa su casa, alright? This is our home. Whenever you got an idea, you just have to hit you up. Well, I want to ask you something very important. So, how do you feel? What's the difference you feel you can notice from the last time you were here and now?
Okay, that's quite a hard question, but yeah.
Yeah, the difference.
I'll go about it.
Yeah. The difference about you. You see, like your professionalism. Things
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I have improved quite a lot from the first time I got here, and the place has also improved a lot. And the most beautiful part is what I feel inside because I feel like warmly received.
All right.
Like at the first time I was a stranger, a complete stranger, unknown person, but
All
now,
right.
yeah, we're just like a family.
All
And
right.
I
All right.
think I believe people
Uh-huh.
watching the podcast are gonna notice as well that today I'm more willing to do
Relaxed.
stuff, yeah,
Okay.
and
Good.
relax
Good.
and stuff.
So that's an honor to have you here. Yeah, for sure, that's not the last time. All right. As I said before, whenever you have something to share with us, our house is going to be open for you. All right, guys. So let me introduce you the topic of today. Today we are going to be talking about effective communication and the dangers of using it badly. All right. Oh, of not having an effective communication. So how can it affect relationship, our professional lives, and even our personal lives can be affected by bad communication or a lack of effective communication. So I want to start this episode by asking you this. Many people online they talk about effective communication. Even me, I used to talk about effective communication and things like that. I don't know if I communicate effectively, but the question is, what is effective communication, and how can we consider somebody? How can we recognize somebody who has an effective communication?
Okay. Well, thank you ever so much for this question, because this question is the core question of this topic. This is the most important
All
question
right.
because I always tell everybody I talk to, we can't talk about something we don't know.
For
First, we
sure.
have to know. I'm not gonna talk about food if I don't even know what food is
Yeah,
or
for
what food
sure.
means. So,
That makes sense.
it is a great question. So, before we talk about effective communication, we need to know what communication is because I believe we both know, but a lot of people out there don't know what
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
communication
know.
really
Yeah.
is. So, communication is the process of exchanging information,
All right.
ideas, thoughts, even thoughts between people,
Even feelings. All right.
even feelings,
For sure.
even feelings between
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
And the word effective means something that has the expected result
All right.
and something that really functions, really works out. That is effective. So, an effective communication is a type of communication where the message you send is totally understood the way
You
you
meant.
intended to transmit it.
What? Yeah. That was it. That is it. So whenever I'm communicating with
Exactly.
someone, and the person I'm talking to understands what I mean or what I say exactly the way I wanted him to understand,
Exactly.
I have an effective communication.
That is the effective communication. The contrary, the other way around. For example, you say A and a person understands B.
B, yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
that's not effective
effective
communication.
communication. And sometimes you want to say something, but it is about your body language. Your body language is transmitting a different feeling or thought,
All right.
because we're not gonna. Our body is not gonna be verbal.
Okay,
There are
okay.
two types of
Of
communication:
communication.
verbal and
And
non-verbal
non-verbal.
communication.
All right.
So here we're getting into the non-verbal communication,
Communication.
where you
All right.
speak with your body, your tone of voice, and people out there is gonna, people out there are gonna ask, but you talked about the tone of voice, voice. So that has to be verbal, but it's not verbal at all. Because verbal is related to the words,
Words, okay.
not to the intonation or the
Intonation.
kind of voice you use.
Okay.
For example, the words are stop doing this. But I'm going to use different voices. I can say stop doing it.
All
I'm
right.
very serious, and maybe you're going to be scared, like, what did I do wrong? But if I
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
hey, stop doing this.
Okay.
This is a total different feeling, because we communicate feelings as well, as you said very well.
All right.
And maybe that's not the feeling I wanted to convey, but the kind of voice that I used gave that person the wrong feeling, the wrong idea. So it is not verbal because I used the same words, but not the same voice or intonation. And there's more.
Okay. Yeah, I completely understood that. So I want to ask you this. Is there any specific kind of people that we are meant to use effective communication with?
Yes, I would say we have to use effective communication with everybody.
All right.
With everybody, absolutely everybody, because getting back to the definition of it, effective communication is whenever people understand your message the way you wanted them to understand. I want you to understand this way, and you really understood how I wanted you to understand. That's effective communication.
All right. So
I bel-
here,
yeah.
here is this question. So if sometimes there is a saying which says, "I'm responsible for what I say, not for what you understand."
Yeah.
So do you think effective communication has to do with the one who speaks or the one who receives the information?
Okay, it has to do with both.
All right.
Because it starts from us, and the other person has to understand.
All
If
right.
they do not understand, we are not communicating. We are talking.
Talking.
Because
Okay.
when we're the only ones speaking,
Yeah, yeah,
we are
yeah.
just talking. And I'm used to saying, this is my unpopular opinion, my distinctive opinion about the most important part of communication.
All right.
It is not speaking. The
All right.
most important part of communication, in my outlook, is listening.
Listening. All right.
Because
all
when
right.
you
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to the
That makes sense.
sometimes I don't need to speak.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I don't. I just have to listen to the person venting, saying everything they
for
mean.
sure.
I'm gonna this person has this personality. This person lives like this, like that. Because they're gonna tell me everything, and I will from that know if that's a person to whom I need to talk a lot, or
Yeah.
from whom I have to listen more.
All right,
And
all right.
how, if I have to talk to that person, how can I talk to them? What is the right method to communicate with that person? I use this a lot with my students. My very first lesson with any student is not even a lesson. When I want to teach a new student, for example, I have a conversation with them. The first day, they have already paid and everything, but we don't start from the scratch having the lesson. I have a conversation with them where I'm just going to ask questions, and those questions are going to oblige them to speak a lot.
All right.
For
all right.
example, one of the questions that cannot miss, my favorite one, is, what kind of person are you?
All right.
And they have to describe, I'm a person like this, I'm a good person, I'm shy, I like this, I like that, I like to be alone. And from that, I will know exactly what the student already dominates and
For
what the
sure.
student lacks in terms of knowledge.
All right.
And even if they have the notion of something, I will know how badly or how well they know about it. For example, okay, the student has already learned verb to be, but there are some broken traits of verb to be that have to be fixed. Okay, I need to do this again, but I cannot teach the greetings anymore because they dominate all the greetings. Okay, and I'm also going to know the most important, which is that student specific best way of learning,
All
because
right.
some students learn best by reading, some learn better by listening to you speaking, some by practice, some seeing images. And there is a student, the last one I had this conversation with, she told me, teacher, I learn better when I'm oriented beforehand about what we're going to have in the lesson. Like, we're gonna talk about the WH or how to answer questions, questions that are asked for information with the W questions, and or interrogative pronouns, and questions that only ask for confirmation. The questions that start with an auxiliary or a modal verb, like, do you like to cook? Yes, I do. That's only a confirmation. If we're gonna have such a lesson like this, I have to, with this student, with this specific student, I have to tell her before, look, search for the WH questions. I'm gonna give her a list: when, where, what, who, whom. Look for those words, for the meaning of those words and the pronunciation, and create examples with them. When you come to the lesson is gonna be, or that is gonna make part of the lesson.
Okay.
And when the student comes, like, what I'm gonna bring next is going to align to that.
Okay.
That's the way she learns better. So, in my outlook, the most important part of communication is
Is
listening,
listening.
because when we listen, we will know how to respond, and that is going to be effective.
All right, that makes sense. That makes sense because if I will remember, there was a time I was attending an oratory course.
Yeah.
All right, and my teacher told me a good communicator is always the one who pays attention to what the one he's talking to is saying.
Exactly.
So, what is communication? Communication is to be aligned, all right? So,
Yeah.
when I understand what you mean and you understand what I mean, and there is no how for you to understand what I mean if you don't pay attention
Pay
on what I'm
attention, yeah.
saying. Okay, so this also works in interactions like that, all right, where we have a topic. I can bring only one question, but if I pay attention on what you are saying, I may create another. You
Exactly.
see, but for that we have to have also an effective listening, and that's the point where
That's
I want to
called-
arrive.
That's called, it has two names.
Yeah.
Athletic listening, like
Okay.
for the athletes.
Okay, okay.
Athletic listening or active listening.
Active listening for sure. Good. So, if I well understood, effective communication is not a specific way of communicating, right? Because it can vary according to the person you're talking to.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
So, to have an effective communication means also to know the person you are talking to. All right.
Exactly.
Okay. Good.
And to know how to tailor your way of conveying the message
Message.
to that person,
The person.
to that person's way of understanding.
All right.
For example, I like to use very, very, very advanced words. For example, instead of motivate, I will say galvanize. Instead of waste, like to waste time or waste money, I will use squander. This is what I like to use.
Okay.
But I have to know when to use it and with whom to use
Use
it.
it.
If I'm
You
talking
can
to
have you can even use those words with me because I don't know them. So
Yeah.
if you use
So,
them, if you use them with that with me, you'll
Yeah.
feel like you are speaking well, but unfortunately, I won't understand what you
Exactly,
what
and-
you mean.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how beautiful that looks.
Yeah.
If I use it with the person who doesn't know, that is not an effective,
Effective
communication.
communication for
And
sure.
how am I gonna know? Because this is a question that is brought about by
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
said. How can I know if the person knows, if this person with whom I'm communicating knows the meaning of the words that I didn't even say yet?
Yeah, yeah.
You will not know. You're not a witch or a wizard. You're not gonna know beforehand.
Yeah.
But you have to use the word and you have to read the facial expressions, or if you don't even want to do that, if you do that, if you don't want to go through that, you say, and then you bring something that is going to clarify. After you say
Okay.
that word, you bring something that is going to clarify, like a similar word or
Uh-huh,
something
uh-huh.
to tag onto that in order um, to make your message clearer for people to understand.
Okay,
This
good.
is very important.
That's really interesting what you said.
Mm,
Sometimes the question is how can we identify
mm,
that the person knows or not what the words that we are going to use. And there is a technique that I often use is to ask a question and
mm.
access, access not assess
Exactly.
the level of the linguistic level of the
Mm.
person. All right. This happens even with my customers.
Yeah.
Whenever I receive a message from somebody,
Mm.
I ask a question. All right. And I look at the way the person writes, if he uses the vocative
Mm-hmm.
correctly, all right,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And by there, I will know that the person probably knows these words, knows
Exactly.
that, and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay, because communication is that it's creating a relation with the person you are talking to,
Mm-hmm.
and when you don't create it, you just speak like someone who doesn't care
Like
about
a
the
rapper.
person, yeah, about the person who, you are talking to. It looks like you are an artificial intelligence who has
Yeah.
only a single way of
Mm-hmm.
treating people. All right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but so communication is this is humanizing or humanizing the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there is something I learned here right now. That's
Mm-hmm.
yeah. There is not a see the effective communication doesn't depend on a certain way you have to communicate. So there is no how for you to go and study in an only way of communicating to people to be an effective communicator. You should know the profile of people you are going to
Exactly.
interact with. So this makes sense and is very very important. So now we know a bit better about
Mm-hmm.
effective communication
Communication.
and
Yeah.
things like that. And right now, I want to understand how important is effective communication. I think we have mentioned a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about that, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really important to go a bit deeper.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Well, effective communication is not only important, I would use the word crucial. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can't get rid of it. It is
Mm-hmm.
super important because we may squanderingly and unpurposely hinder our relationships. We can lose important people, we can lose important jobs or even job opportunities
Mm-hmm.
because of a non-effective
Communication.
communication.
All right.
One of the examples of the dangers of a non-effective communication, because effective communication, one more time, is when the person understands you the way you wanted to transmit your
Mm-hmm.
message.
Mm-hmm.
There was a girl who went to a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that's not a waiter but the receptionist asked
Mm-hmm.
her for the number of her apartment,
All right.
and the number was, if I remember well, it was 3629.
Mm-hmm.
3629. There are certain people who can't pronounce the th sound, like th or the.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
instead of those sounds,
T.
she put f.
F.
So she
Yeah. Yeah.
said
Yeah.
free instead of
Three.
three. Instead of six,
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
using the short e
Uh
six,
huh.
she
They say
said with the s sound, sex.
sex.
So
All right.
free sex tonight. That's what she said instead of 3629.
All right.
And Mary was like, free sex tonight? Is that what you really mean? And that is a clear explanation of a non-effective
Effective
communication, because
communication.
she wanted to say the number of her apartment, which is 3629. This is what she wanted him to understand,
To understand.
but he understood the other way. So that's a non-effective communication. You go to a job interview and you want to say something, but the interviewer understands as disrespect, for example.
Okay.
You will not get that job, but you didn't want to say that way.
Okay, this can happen also oppositely. For instance, you go to a place like Kaopi,
Yeah,
and people from
yeah,
there they use a lot of slang,
exactly.
but then you are somebody very formal. When you
Like
try to
me.
communicate with them, for
Yeah.
instance, if you don't know how to, let's say, how to adapt your communication with their level, you can be misunderstood. All right.
Exactly.
So, uh, communication is power. Looking
Yeah,
at this,
exactly.
yeah, looking at this point,
Exactly.
yeah, communication is power. You can lose a job opportunity by using slang. All right. Some addictions of language too. All right.
How many relationships
Mm-hmm.
have been broken so far because of a lack
Of
because of
communication.
lack of a
Ah.
good communication? You say something.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying A, your girl is
Is going to
understanding Z.
Z. No, there is one thing that girls are very good at understanding
Misunderstanding thing.
yeah, understanding things the way they want.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If you don't have a great communication, my guy, you're going to have a lot of problems. Your
And
relationship is going to end up before even it start. You see.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it causes me to thought it causes me to talk about defensiveness. What is defensiveness when it comes to communication?
Communication.
This is when you want to defend yourself all the
Self.
time.
Yeah.
And people who are defensive, who are reactive instead of responsive, because when you're responsive, it's like somebody is going to tell you that you didn't do a great job, or somebody comes and tells me you're not a good teacher. For example, once I received that was not a compliment, that was the opposite of a compliment. That was I was being criticized by somebody. He said your lessons are very boring. Imagine somebody telling you in your face when 99% of students would say that your classes are great, but there's always one who
Yeah.
says your
This
lessons
happens.
are very
I
boring.
think this happens with
That
everybody.
happens. So, what would be a reactive response? No, my lessons are not boring, and this, and that. Why do you think that? Like, I would not be so happy with that, with that criticism. But what I did was okay. And why? Why do you think? Why do you think like that? And then the man said, because of this, and that. I said, okay, but okay, what else? This, and that. Okay, but do you know that this, and that? So I was communicating with that person. I wanted to understand why he thought that my lessons were boring, if that was something that I could change and improve, or if that was just like hatred.
Okay.
And I could actually understand that like 50% of that was 50% of the reasons for that comment um was a misunderstanding, and another 50% was something that I really should change. So then when I changed, that man became one of my most beloved students. Yeah,
Wow.
who used to talk to me every day. Hey, teacher, how are you? Teacher, this
Right.
lesson. And the next lesson, I told him, okay, this is going to be improved. You're not going to see this anymore. And the other day, next lesson, after the lesson, he said, teacher, I have something to say. And I was like, here we go again. Yeah, but I got surprised because he said something totally different.
Different,
He said,
yeah.
"Teacher, this lesson was very very good, and I'd like for us to have this lesson or this kind of lesson more often."
More often,
And I was
yeah.
like, "Wow, that melted my heart."
Good.
That's why we have to listen as well, because
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
you really have something to change.
To change, yeah,
You
for
really
sure.
have something to change,
For
but we
sure.
have to be open in order to listen. So
yeah.
you cannot be reactive, because if I were reactive, I would not have a good relationship with my student in the classroom.
It would sound arrogant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of bad things, a lot of bad outcomes could come out of it. But I was responsive, not reactive. So reactive people have the defensiveness as the main pattern of their communication.
All right.
You say, honey, the food is salty, for example. The rice is salty, honey. Salty, salty, and a lot of things that you don't even want to listen. Like, I'm not very good at imitating girls.
Yeah, yeah,
We should have a girl here to
yeah, yeah,
demonstrate it.
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Yeah, but this is what happens. And
No, they normally say the next time you cook, you should
yourself.
cook. Yeah. Oh, why didn't you cook?
Yeah.
Yeah, they love to do that. Yeah,
So,
so normally when people talk about effective communication, they often relate it only to professional environment, professional side, things like that. I would like to know what if this can affect also other areas. Like, yeah, people talk a lot about professionalism or the importance of effective communication for professional sets. But now I want you to focus more on personal and relationship.
okay. In personal life, well, already had a lot of misunderstanding with my friends. I said something and my friend didn't understand well, and suddenly he's not sending messages anymore. And I'm wondering, like, what did I do or what's happening to that guy? He suddenly ghosted me. What's happening? And then it was something that I said, but I wanted him to understand certain way, and he misunderstood my message. So it hinders and it breaks relationships. It tears apart relationships. A
Okay.
lot of couples have like betrayals. Let me talk about betrayals. Sometimes you leave somebody because you think they betrayed you, but there wasn't any betrayal. It was somebody who was calling your wife or your husband if you're a woman, and you just saw like for example, I have some contacts on my WhatsApp with the heart, but I didn't put the heart because
Yeah,
on
even
WhatsApp
me.
you name yourself, you create
Uh-huh,
your
yeah, yeah,
name
yeah, your name.
or your nickname, and then you can put whatever the sticker, whatever the emojis you want to put,
Yeah, for sure.
whatever the emojis you want to add. So some people put their names, and then they imagine somebody who names themselves Ursinha, and then they put a red heart. When you just save, and you know the person with that name, when you save like this, and your girlfriend sees that, you screwed up. But you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
misunderstanding. So this is one of the dangers in the relationship. You will lose
uh,
important people. You will lose important job opportunities. And when it comes to business, getting back to business field, I want to know. I want to talk about. I want to talk about the moment before the job interview or then during the job interview or before you get in the job, and then communicate effective communication when you get the job, and then after getting the job.
all right,
So before you get the job, you're gonna have the job interview.
all right.
And when you have the job interview, first thing you have to focus on is all types of communication. Not only the verbal communication, all types of communication have to be functioning well.
All
For
right.
example, your body language has to be positive,
All
has to
right.
be calm, has to transmit a good energy that the interviewer is gonna see you and say, "We want this kind of energy here,
Here in the
working
company.
for us
All
or
right.
working with us. We want this energy here. We want this vibe, this feeling here, and also we want this kind of language, those words here." So
Alright.
the verbal communication has to be good as well. And you
Good.
can be using very, very, very good terms, but with a not very good tone of voice or not very good facial expression. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need to
yeah.
be focusing on all of those details, and you can't be fake. This is like when you're conquering a girl. Some people are fake. They create another personality to impress the
The
girl, so
girl,
the girl
yeah.
accepts them, and then the relationship one day or another is going to break down because they will show their true colors with
Yeah,
time,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and they're gonna see, oh, so you're not the person that I met. I
Yeah,
fell
yeah,
in love
yeah,
with
yeah,
the idea I created of you.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So we can't fake even when we go to job interviews. You can speak away. For example, you're gonna speak like a guy from Portugal, like a
Uh-huh.
Portuguese guy. You're gonna try to sound European, but after you start working, you speak like somebody from Cabinda, for example. They're
From
gonna say like,
Cabina,
"Where's that
from
Portuguese that you
Kaopi.
were using?" Exactly. So you can't be
Yeah,
fake.
yeah,
First, you
yeah.
have to bet on yourself and
Uh-huh.
create that standard that is your original way of speaking, your original way of dressing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people go with the whole suit, three
Mm-hmm.
piece,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they
yeah.
go to the job interview, and after starting working, they go like this way, as I am, or
Yeah.
even more
Even yeah, yeah,
informal.
informal,
But
informal.
for that
Yeah.
actual day, you want to go well presented. Don't do that, please. Go the way you're gonna keep going.
Yeah, I
And
left the uh-huh.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah, you
this
make
is
it
for the
going.
moment before you get the job.
Yeah.
After you get the job, what should you focus on? Focus on maintaining this image that you created. Focus on maintaining the person that you showed to the company, to the interviewer, to the CEO. Keep showing that in order not to lose the job opportunity you've already acquired. So
Yeah.
yeah, about the job offers, job opportunities, and even careers.
Mm.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and that makes sense. You mentioned there people people who fake behavior. They force something to get an opportunity, but then when they get that, they stop.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like the same thing that makes you get get hired can be the same thing that can make you be fired.
Wow, that was great. That was a great
Yeah,
quote.
yeah. So we should really be careful with the way we communicate.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that's important to have? The most important is to have a way of communicating or a good way of communicating, or to understand different profile of people that we are supposed or we can be communicating with.
I would choose B.
B.
Because when you understand the profiles, when I understand how I have to communicate with you and how I have to communicate with another person and so on, then I'm going to be the best communicator
All
because I
right.
talk to everybody and
All
I
right.
make them all understand me.
Okay.
So for me, that's the best fit that we can have.
Okay.
But we
Good.
have to have both. I'm just mentioning what the most important is, but we
Yes.
have
All
to have
right.
both.
Yeah. 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 We should have an identity, but that's also important to understand. Yeah, the profiles
Yeah,
of
and then
people.
we need to talk also about the effective communication for English learners and English speakers. We need to get to that
Okay,
point.
okay,
Yeah.
good. Talking about effective communication, you said that an effective communication is when a message is gotten the way it was meant. All right. So I've been working as a teacher. All right. A good teacher should be a great communicator
Exactly.
because um, we make people learning. So if you don't have a great communication, so you may be misunderstood, your students can be learning things wrongly and things like that. All right. So let's first focus on professionals like teachers. All right, English speakers. In this case, we are going to talk about English speakers or English teachers. So how important is communication for English speakers? We are talking about people who are already fluent and things like that, and for teachers. Okay, yeah.
The importance of it when it comes to this field that you just mentioned, and with this to this profession of being an English teacher, a mentor, the importance relies on the way students will understand you. Students, if you want to teach, that's because you want students to understand, and students are supposed to learn.
For
So
sure.
if you do not use an effective communication, a communication that is going to get students to understand the lesson the way you want to transmit, then they will not learn. And it is important because if you do use well the effective communication, they will learn. You will get the results that you really want to get. So that is the importance of communication when it comes to being a teacher. And a teacher does not only work with the students, he works with another teachers, the peers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
works with the secretaries, the receptionist, the boss. So you have documents to deliver. You have information to give to certain people, specific information to certain people.
For sure.
And for example, the receptionist or the secretary can have a new student, and you assess the student. And then firstly, if your communication with that student in the moment you assess them is not effective, you will not get their level right, because then you have to tell the school, this student is elementary, this student is intermediate, or the student is a beginner or even advanced. If you don't talk to the student the right way, you will get the wrong level, and you will give another information that is not what you really should give. And that person will not understand what they should really understand. And then you will not put that person in the right class, and that person is not going to have the right lesson for them, the lesson that they are really supposed to have. So that is also one of the dangers. The student is not going to learn at all, because, or will learn, but the learning process is going to be hindered and slowed. They're not going to learn as fast as they
Yes.
really should, because you as a teacher do not communicate effectively.
Okay. And how? Let's now focus on English learner. For instance, English
Exactly,
learners.
English learners and English speakers, people who already speak English.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do use good vocabularies. Sometimes you do use good vocabularies. Sometimes you do use good vocabulary. You have a good amount of words. You have a very good grammar, very good pronunciation. But maybe you're using the words the wrong way, or you're saying with the wrong tone of voice. So you need to be able to transmit the messages the right way. How do you do this? First, know how to tailor the level of communication. I mentioned about the words I like to use, the very advanced words for scientists and stuff. I can't use it with anybody I want, or I can't use it with everybody I communicate with. I have to tailor. I have to see what your knowledge is. If I'm talking to my students, I'm not gonna use my most expensive, as I like to call them, words.
Words, yeah.
And if I do use, I'm gonna use with the purpose of teaching them. I will say the word, and then, for example, I'm not gonna squander my time talking to you. And by squander, I mean to waste.
Nah, I
them
learned.
understand.
Yeah.
I made them
Yeah, yeah,
understand.
yeah, yeah. I learned that at the beginning when you when
Yeah.
you gave that example, squander.
Exactly. And when you say this, when you communicate this way, people will understand you better. Imagine you want to say there. Imagine you want to say, you want to ask for the keys. You want to ask for the keys. Can you give me the keys? But instead of Z sound, you put the S sound. So can you give me the kiss? And the person, what kiss? I don't have to kiss you. You're a man like me, for example.
Yeah.
So pronunciation is also a very important part of
Of
communication.
communication.
Sometimes you want to say close, but you say close.
Close.
You want to say use, you say
Yes,
use.
use.
And there is a difference. If you change one single sound, you change the whole meaning of the thing. So pay attention to your pronunciation. Are you pronouncing words correctly? Are you using the right vocabulary?
All right.
Are you speaking with the right tone of voice? Those are things that you have to really pay attention to if you want to be a good communicator. Because sometimes it is the wrong word, sometimes it is the right word but with the wrong pronunciation, or the right word, right pronunciation, the wrong intonation, in the wrong sentence, to the wrong people.
And look, there is something that I would like to ask, and that's related to our emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I think our emotional intelligence influences on how we behave. All right, it influences, I think, in everything we do, and I also believe that this also influences on the way we communicate. So, how do you think our emotional intelligence can affect our communication?
Exactly. Well, if we are emotionally intelligent, we will have something that I call the filter, the communication filter, which is going to filter what's good and use it and reply to it and ignore what
What's
is
bad?
bad.
Okay,
We
good.
have to be able to discard things that would harm our communication or our lives at all.
Ah,
Everybody you meet in life has something to teach you.
yeah, 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 yeah,
You have to
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
willing to
yeah.
learn what the person has to teach you,
Ah,
even if you learn the whether you learn the right way or the wrong way. No, that's not what I meant. Whether you learn the best way or the worst
the
way.
worst way, yeah.
This is something people say a lot. I learned this the worst way. That means you went through hell in order to learn that
To learn
lesson.
that.
So we need to be able, it doesn't matter how, but we need to be able to learn the lesson and discard what is not important. That is also called emotional intelligence.
Okay.
And how do we do this? Imagine you work for a shopping mall. You work for a shopping mall. You receive clients that you need to serve,
For sure.
and not all clients are polite.
Yeah, yeah,
Not all clients are polite,
yeah, yeah.
and people watching this episode, this podcast, I believe that some of them work in that area, and they are going to relate to this because not all clients are polite. So, what do you do, or what should you do when a client, when a customer insults you, offends you, doesn't treat you the way they should? What are you going to do? You have to have emotional intelligence.
Intelligence.
That causes me to retreat to what I said minutes ago. The reactive response or the responsive behavior. Reactive
Okay.
behavior or responsive behavior.
Behavior. Okay.
You can't be reactive. You have to be numb to your emotions,
All right.
and you have to be aware of your responses. Critical thinking. Is that what that person really meant, or they're just angry and being reactive,
Yeah,
and they don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
the same emotional intelligence
Just
that I
like
have?
have-
I'm filtering, like I
Yeah.
can't say this, I can't say that, but I have to say this because the most important is this.
Is this? Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we have a lot. Sometimes I personally have a lot of things to say, but I end up saying just one sentence because that sentence is the only thing that is important. Is the only thing that person has to hear from me. The rest would be just me manifesting what I'm feeling, which is not important
Okay.
for that moment.
Okay.
That is emotional intelligence when it comes to communication.
Communication. So, and this takes me back to a situation that I lived in the classroom
okay.
with a student. Yeah, the way I behave, I'm somebody who is always with a smile on the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm not really happy. You see. Yeah, and there are those students that they misunderstand this.
Yeah.
They think like, nah, teacher is like that, and then I can behave the way I want with them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the way I respond to those kinds of behavior makes other student thinking like, why? If that was me, I wouldn't react like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be my reaction. Yeah, I would probably put the person out, and then I should tell her to bring the response to us. All right.
Exactly.
It's like she treated me in a way she didn't have to. All right.
Exactly.
And I answered to that with a very beautiful smile, and I just act like I didn't listen to that. All
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And one of my students asked me, like, teacher, why do you accept this? I said, no, we choose the we choose. I mean, uh, we have emotional intelligence, all right, and we have also emotional health, all right. So how healthy we are emotionally doesn't depend on people who we talk to or who
Yeah.
we interact
Mhm.
with. It depends on how we filter that what you said before,
Exactly.
the informations we receive
Mhm.
and use it. You
Mhm.
see, so if you react the way you think that should be
Mhm.
every time you receive something like that, then you won't be emotionally healthy. You
Exactly.
see, yeah, and
That means that you are a mentally health, not mentally healthy,
fee, yeah,
mentally healthy person,
mm,
and also emotionally intelligent.
yeah.
Because
Sometimes,
sometimes people mistake
mm,
our confidence for arrogance. For example,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
mistake
yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
silence for ignorance.
Mm,
They mistake our I meant ignorance, and they mistake sometimes our politeness,
mm,
our good behavior,
mm,
our peace of mind and
mm,
spirit
mm.
as foolishness.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. But the most important is when you do it because you know
Mhm.
what you are doing, because
Exactly.
you are not easily influenced by another people.
Mhm.
You see, and well, normally live more those people who know what they do, who don't react to everything like as a normal person. We are not a normal person.
Mhm.
We are
Yeah.
not normal people. I mean, all right, yeah, that's exactly it. So, what is the advice that you would give to people who are learning English? All
Mhm.
right. There are those people who say that no, the most important now is just to be fluent and things like that. That they don't care about the way they communicate. They just want to be fluent. You see,
Mhm.
they just want to speak English, right? So, what's the advice you would share with them?
Okay, let me talk to him. Well, I'm going to give you at least three pieces of advice, or even more than that. That depends on how my mind is going to be because my mind sometimes goes
Yeah.
off. All right, so what I want you to say at first is bet on yourself and the way you communicate.
Mm.
Bet on every type of communication, verbal, nonverbal, your body language, your words, the tone of voice. Learn how to master all of that. You don't need to take a course to learn that. There are
Mm.
courses. You can take a course to learn that. But even without a course, you may learn. You
Mm.
are capable of learning how to communicate. And if you want to communicate effectively in English, now I'm talking to the English learners, don't only learn the language, learn also the culture.
All right.
Learn the culture. Because sometimes what you say here is not said the same way right over there in the US or in the UK, for example. Sometimes you want to translate the things the way you say in your native
Native
language,
language, yeah.
but they don't speak like that there. It doesn't
Mm.
exist there.
Mm-hmm. For instance, to say I have a 2 years old,
Exactly. I have so
I have a
how
hungry.
do you have a hunger? How do you possess
Uh-huh.
hunger? That's impossible because words have different meanings in
Yeah.
different cultures. And for example, I have an American friend and a British friend as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to my American friend and I told her, I saw the profile picture she had changed
Mm-hmm.
and I said, beautiful picture, huh? That's what I
Mm-hmm.
said.
Yeah.
That's quite a beautiful picture, huh? And she said, "Why did you say ha at the end?" And I said, like, I think that's just a vibe because a lot of people use it there in the US. I see in the movies, in the series, like, good car, huh?
Yeah,
But she said that that's not how I should give a compliment.
yeah.
I could just say nice picture or that's a beautiful profile picture
Profile picture.
without
Okay.
putting ha at the end because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that means that I'm basically questioning her. Like, do you
Ah,
think this is do you
good,
think this
great
is
picture.
a beautiful picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the huh.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
questioning
yeah,
her.
yeah,
I
yeah.
said okay. So I thought that if we have this here in our language,
Uh-huh.
we don't say ha, but we say something similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the meaning would be the same,
The
but it
same,
wasn't.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It wasn't. So don't only learn the language. Learn the language with the culture and
Yeah.
master the way you communicate, so you can avoid a lot of problems.
Okay, good. So before we close this episode, I would like to ask you to share your, what's that?
My
Your
social
social media
medias.
names. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much for this opportunity. So for you guys who see me for the first or second time, because this is my second time
Mm-hmm.
here, if you want to see me more often, I am a content creator as well. And my name on TikTok is Isaac, your
Mm-hmm.
American accent and pronunciation coach.
Mm-hmm.
And on Facebook, my name is Isaac Alvaro João. That's how you can actually find me and see me more often. Mostly on TikTok, where I have a lot of videos teaching pronunciation and advanced vocabulary. So I see you there.
All right. So I'll be writing the names there also. Teach Isaac, thank you for providing us this amount of information about communication and things like that, because um, everybody lives to learn and just keep living because they learn. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. We stop learning at the right time. We stop breathing too. So today we learned about communication. Tomorrow we are going to learn about another thing. And today we are honored that we learned about communication exactly with you, which is a pleasure and an honor, as I said before. So do you have any last word?
Well, any last words? I do have. This is what I tell my students because some of them have lack of self-awareness, self-confidence,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of English learners and English speakers out there have self-esteem problems and self-awareness problems as well. I created a group on WhatsApp that where I joined all my students so they can practice together because they have the same teacher.
Sure.
But whenever I have a new student and I add them and I say, look, I'm gonna add you to a group where you're gonna practice with your mates. So the first interaction they have with the members of the group, then they come and say, "Hey, teacher, those students are very advanced. I'm not in their level. I'm not gonna be able to communicate with them. Not now. I can't talk to them." And I said, like, why do you think I created this group? What do you think the group is there for? The group is there for people to help each other. You will help each other. You will go there and say, good morning. Today I learned about this, this, and that we can use in this situation. And I learned that it may vary like this, like that as well. And the other person is going to say, okay, wow, I learned it. I learned it as well, and my lesson was different. I had a pronunciation class. I learned that we have to pronounce words like this, like this, like that. Oh, I didn't know. So they're gonna be sharing the knowledge
Yeah.
among them, and everybody's gonna learn. And if you do not understand that text, for example, you copy the text, go to an artificial intelligence or even a translator dictionary, and you just see what that means. If you have problems responding, write the sentence in Portuguese and translate it to English, then you send the message. So it is super easy. And I would like to tell students and speakers that you have to be confident because you're gonna be hindering your development. And the line that I usually tell those students that have this low self-esteem is, if you don't trust yourself, neither will I.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
If you
For
don't
sure.
trust yourself, I love you. I'm your teacher.
Uh-huh.
I want to show you the way. I know I was first a student, an English student, and now
Yeah.
I am an English teacher. So
Yeah.
I know exactly the way you have to take to go to the fluency.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, teacher, I'm not capable, I'm very weak, I can't speak, I can't understand, I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
be able, then I will know here in my mind that even if I tell you that is the way, you will not take the steps to
Mm.
get there.
It's like
So I will not tell you
yeah, yeah,
anyway
yeah.
because if you don't trust yourself, I will not trust
Uh,
yourself as well.
yeah, it's like to be willing to help somebody who is not, who doesn't want to be helped.
Exactly, doesn't want to be helped.
Yeah, yeah. This
So,
doesn't work, unfortunately.
exactly.
To teach somebody who doesn't want to learn, come on, this
So
doesn't work.
that was my last piece of advice. You
Uh,
have to trust yourself. You have to
okay.
bet on yourself before you start helping others or betting on others because there's an English proverb that says charity starts at home.
Hmm.
Charity starts at home. First you
Mm-hmm.
need to help yourself, bet on yourself and the ones close to you, and
Mm-hmm.
then you start working on the outside people.
All right,
That's what you
all
need to
right.
do.
Okay. Thank you once more. And well, guys, you there on the other side watching us, this is a Casa da Fluencia once more podcast. And I want to ask you something that you won't pay to do, all right? You won't waste that much time, which is to comment and like the video. If possible, please share also with people who are learning English, because by doing this, you are not only helping us, but you are going to help that person, that friend, that brother that you have that is learning English. So, guys, thank you once more to have you here. And you guys there on the other side, thank you for watching this episode to the end and have a nice one.
Cheers.